Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada, and you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Wednesday night tonight, and it was a lovely day here on the West Coast until about 4 o'clock when it started to rain, but we need the rain, so I guess I won't complain. It is getting kind of into winter, so I guess I should be expecting some rain. So I'm here tonight with a technique for you, and I haven't done this in a very long time, but I'm calling it color wash using Wink of Stella. And if you have never done this, it creates this most amazing, very sparkly, shimmery background. I would suggest you use an old Wink of Stella that doesn't have a lot. You don't need a lot, so it doesn't have a lot of the Wink of Stella in it. You do need some, but you don't need a ton. And a reinker. And so I'm using Garden Green as my reinker tonight, and it's just creating such a really pretty color. So if you love sparkle and it's kind of that time of the season, hey Karen, sparkle is great for holiday cards, and I'm using the decorative trees, so that's the Garden Green, color. All right, what do I need to tell you before I get started? I think that's it. I'll just get started and we'll play with this a little bit. It's such a pretty technique. Okay, so this is the decorative trees bundle. It is a photopolymer bundle. What is most amazing, at least to me, are these gorgeous dies that come with it. And so you get these great you get a tree, of course, the background tree, but you get these great dies that create really ornate tops for trees. So plaid, this one is great if you're using Night of Navy or something like that in white, because it's got the snowflakes. Where's my other ones? Oh, the other pieces. So then there's this one like a tree. You've got the garland pieces, which I think I've managed to lose one. I think there's actually 5 garland pieces. If you wanted to cut garlands. A star, I actually don't know what that, oh, I know what that is. It's this image here for hanging your baubles, some bows if you want to put them on the tree, and the baubles. Let's see what else is there under here. Have I got, oopsie, see I'm going to lose another one of those. They're so fine and tiny. Oh yeah, there's more. And some more backgrounds. For your trees, some dots, so it looks like kind of snowflakes, and then some stripes, and I've got 2 more that I'll show you that I'm using on my cards tonight. Let's put these away so I don't lose them. Okay, so let me show you what you end up with so you can see how fun this actually is. So I was playing with the colors, and I don't know, can you see that? Oh, there you go. Can you see how shimmery that is? And all I did was take an old Wink of Stella. Let's go back to this. And I took the cap off, and then there's a black, I don't know if I've got one here that I can show you. Let's put the lid on this for a minute. I am gonna. When you take this black piece out, it does kind of start to, so there's a black kind of ring, and there's a whole piece in this, and I pulled that out, just kind of got some scissors and lifted that out, and it just makes it really easy to then put, I think all I did was put a couple of drops into the hole of Garden Green, and you're set to go. This is Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and so it makes it easy to, I did spritz it with water before I did it. So I'll show you how easy this is to do. So I've got a piece, and I'm going to do this whole piece because I need part of it that's going to be lighter, and part of it I'm going to go over and make it a little bit darker for the outline of the trees. So, not that, this. I'm going to spritz my paper, and I do make it quite wet. And in fact, I may spritz it again if I find it's not wet enough. And so I don't know if you can see, there we go, you can see it's quite wet. Take your, and hopefully don't get this all over you. And I just took it and put, hopefully I've got enough in here. I'm just about out. Okay, let's take this out. I'm just gonna add a couple of more drops of my garden green. Just maybe one drop. I don't have much liquid in there, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of water. So this is, you can thin down your Wink of Stella a little bit with water. I wouldn't do that if you are using your good Wink of Stella in the clear, but since I've already kind of decided that this one's going to be garden green, it's okay. Shake that up. Spritz my paper a little bit more because I've spent a little bit of time fussing with this. Take this, and now I should, oh, and there I've got lots of liquid now. Mix that around, and just now do exactly what you would do with a color wash if you were watercoloring something. And you're going to get, depending on how much garden green or whatever color you're using, you will get various shades of color across your paper. You could do multiple colors if you wanted to. This is why I use Fluid 100 paper, because it is quite wet, and if you use basic white, it just won't handle this amount of water. And I don't know if you can see the shimmer, it's just shining. And there's a fair amount of water on here, so it's kind of sitting right on top. And you can just kind of do this until you get the color you want. So part of this is going to be, I am going to trim this. Part of this is going to be a background, and part of this is going to be for the trees. So this will be the background piece. I've kind of got it, it's just so pretty. Okay, now I've got another little bit of Wink of Stella that I pulled out earlier that I was playing with. And I'm just going to take, and this has more garden green in it, so it's quite thick because it's been sitting here for a minute. So I'm just going to take and add a little bit of water to it just to thin it down. But I want it quite dark because this is what I want my trees. So I'm just going to take this, and on half of it I'm going to do it darker because I want the trees to kind of show up on that background. There we go. And it doesn't have to be even. You can just kind of go over it. Okay, so I'm going to put my lid back on my garden green Wink of Stella. I have Wink of Stella all over my hands. I'm going to clean up my mess. So I actually started this at about 6 o'clock tonight just to make a sample and play a little bit. And you can see that Wink of Stella was still good by adding just a little bit of water to it, even after it had sat there for that long. Okay, there we go. Clean up my mess. Okay, this I would let sit and dry. You can use a heat tool, which is what I did earlier, but I'm going to let this just dry naturally, leave it flat, and I will make another card out of this. I'm going to just kind of set it off to the side and bring in the ones that I created earlier tonight. So this is the same. I cut just one piece, and I did, it's not quite as dark as what I was playing with just now, but these are the trees that I cut out using that tree die from the darker section at the bottom. And then this is my one that I was playing with, just kind of the whitewash, just really subtle. It's got almost a little bit of yellow to it because of the way the Wink of Stella just covered, and so that's going to go on like that. So I'm going to use garden green. It's a really easy technique, a cool way to get shimmer. If you're into shimmer, it's a really fun technique. So I've got a piece of garden green. that is 4¼ by 11. And we'll score it at 5½. And if I can find my bone folder, fold into the mountain or the raised line. And I've got Wink of Stella on, and so I'm getting glitter all over, which is okay. Now I've got a piece of granny apple green that I cut 4 inches by 5¼ and then I trimmed my piece of I cut a piece of the watercolor paper, and this is, did I cut this to 3½ by 4¾ so there's going to be a little bit of a granny apple green border around it. And then I cut the 2 trees out of the darker section at the bottom. Now these are the 2 dies that I'm going to use. One has got holly berries and one is just kind of a really pretty garland. And I'm going to use, this is the granny apple green glimmer paper that is part of the festive glimmer papers. And I went ahead and used some adhesive sheets. When you've got a die that is, I'm finally remembering to when I've got a die that's really ornate, I added some adhesive sheets to the back of my piece of granny apple green, and then I ran those 2 dies through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and I'm just going to take them out, see if I can get them. I've got my a silicone mat here just because it helps. It won't stick to the silicone mat, so I'm just going to try and lift out my die section off of the adhesive sheet. Sometimes it doesn't come off, but in this case it's come out of there and left part of it behind. So on a silicone sheet you can just take these bits and poke out, and the adhesive won't stick. I want to save this adhesive so it makes it easy to stick to my trees. So I'm just using my take your pick tool to poke out these sections. If you run your die through a couple of times, it really does help loosen. And of course it's sticking to my fingers. Trying to see where there is sections that need to poke out. Hard to see on this glitter. Probably actually if I turn it over I might see a little better, and some of it's just sticking to my fingers and coming out very nicely. There we go. Much easier to see if you turn it over and poke it out that way. But of course now it's sticking to my fingers. Some of it's actually sticking to that point. Come on. Almost. I think there's 1 and 2. There we go. Okay, now you will notice that these are smaller. And I apologize if you're watching through YouTube and commenting. I'm not seeing any of the comments coming in through YouTube, so I will go back and just respond to comments afterwards. Apologies for that if you're watching. Okay, so I'm just taking this and sticking. Now these dies, the detailed dies, are smaller than this tree. So you can just take your paper snips once you get it on there and just kind of cut a tree bottom. Now this tree bottom isn't going to have the little bottom, the trunk to it, but that's okay. And again, we're going to do the same thing. This one seems a little easier. Maybe, I don't know why. Maybe I can see the sections. This is even more ornate. These little lines that have been cut are quite fine. This is my favorite. I don't know, we always seem to have favorites, at least I do. But I really love this really ornate line kind of garlands. So I'm going to tell, so using adhesive foam sheets makes it so much easier to actually stick, and they're not trying to use glue on these really fine. But I will say it is a bit fiddly, as you can see, to get all the little pieces out, especially when you've got that glue on the back and it's sticking to my fingers and everywhere else. Okay, so just about, there we go. Okay, let's put that off to the side. And we'll pull this one off, and this one goes on the same way. Again, it's smaller tree, so you just attach it starting at the top, and then you can trim. And if you wanted to, you could cut it so that there was a little bit of a trunk, but I'm not going to worry about that. There we go. Isn't these pretty? I don't know if you can see how glittery. So not only do I have the shimmer from the Wink of Stella that I did the wash with, I have, come on, there we go. I have the glitter paper that is so pretty. Okay, so let's get started. I want to stamp a sentiment. So this is the other reason. I'm going to stamp the Oh Christmas Tree, I think. Let's see how big that's going to be. Maybe I'm going to stamp the Season's Greetings. You want to make sure this is really dry if you're going to stamp directly on this like I am. And I'm going to use the Tuxedo Black Memento just up in the corner. If it's not really dry, you might find it bleeds a little bit. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this is... There we go. Like I said, I did this about 45 minutes ago so that it would be dry enough to play with tonight. Okay, so let's pull out some dimensionals and put our trees on. And then we can put our card together. If you wanted to, you could make a bunch of these backgrounds up. Make them up ahead of time and then use them to do on all sorts of different cards. There we go. Like that. Look how shimmery that is. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I am going to use tear and tape on the back of this because there's a chance that because it's thicker, because it could be a little bit damp, tear and tape will just hold this. Because I used a heat tool on this to heat it, to dry it, it can be a little bit warped, and so I'm just putting 3 strips of tear and tape down this to hold it on. And so there's a little bit more of a border because I like the Granny Apple Green showing. And again, apologies if you're commenting on Facebook or YouTube. I'm not seeing those comments and I don't know why. Let's actually see what this, it says there's 10 viewers. Oh, now I'm seeing them. I'm really sorry, but hey Connie, Pam, Gabriella, welcome. Thank you for joining. Sorry, I just refreshed the chat on my screen and all of a sudden your names popped up. All I was seeing was Karen coming in through Facebook, my Facebook group, so I wasn't seeing anybody else. So we'll just use the glue on the back of this. So you can add any color to your Wink of Stella. Once you've added the color, of course, it's kind of done for. And I would suggest you wait until you've got an old one to do this technique. Okay, somewhere I've got a piece of very vanilla that I cut 4 inches by 5.5, and I saved a piece. This is just a little 1/4 inch strip that I saved from the when I cut my pieces, and so I'm just going to use that on the inside of my card. Ooh, I got a big splodge of glue. Let's see if I can. There we go. Okay. Because I like to always have something on the inside of my card. There we go. So just something on the inside of the card. There used to be a product, it's called Frosted Inks, Frosted something, that did a similar thing. We don't have it anymore. It came in little bottles, and you could take and color with it, and it was frosted, a bit like Wink of Stella, probably not quite so shimmery as Wink of Stella. And so it worked really well for this technique too. You didn't have to use your Wink of Stella, but since they don't have them anymore, Wink of Stella comes, and of course, if you're like me, you have quite a few Wink of Stella hanging around that are almost empty. Okay, I have to ask this. Are you like me? Oh yeah. Are you like me, and I don't know, what size of rhinestones do you use the most of? If you're like me, you use mostly the big ones and the medium ones, and you end up with all of these little ones. So I'm going to use some little ones on my trees tonight. And I'm going to take a dark mossy meadow. If you watched me last night, I did this with copper clay. And so I'm just going to color some of these in mossy meadow using my Stampin' Blend. I need some more. Maybe I need some more of those, and so we'll add some more bling, because of course you can't have enough bling. We'll put them on our trees. And one on the top, and then one on the top of there. And I'm going to have to go and wash my hands and get rid of some of this Wink of Stella and glue that I have. Good way to use up some of these little tiny rhinestones. I don't know. What are you? What's? Okay, Lynn's using small ones. Connie uses small ones. All right. Well, maybe I'm the only one that uses the big ones. And clearly, Stampin' Up! Thinks most people use more of the little ones, because you get way more little of the rhinestones than you do the big ones. So maybe I'm the odd one out. But there we go. There is my very, very shimmery card. I don't know if you can actually see the shimmer. But I love Wink of Stella. If you're like me, you love it too. And so just by adding color and doing a wash with it, you get this gorgeous, gorgeous shimmer. There used to be a technique a few years ago where you could use the adhesive sheets, put them on a card and a shape. Thanks, Pam. I love green, and the combination of granny apple green and garden green is really pretty. Hey, Shelley, welcome. Yeah, there used to be a technique that you could do. We don't have glitter anymore, which is probably just as well, because I was terrible making a mess with it. But you would put the adhesive sheets on a piece of cardstock or a basic white, and then sprinkle with glitter. And of course, the adhesive sheets would hold the glitter, and you would just tap off what you didn't use. And so this is a similar technique in that you get the shimmer, but there's no glitter. You just have to deal with the Wink of Stella on your hands. All right, so that's my card for tonight. Now, I will not be live on Saturday. I have an event to go to. If some of you are joining us at the Creativity Abound Stamp Camp, it's the reindeer days or reindeer fun stamp camp. So some of you are joining us for that. That starts Friday. If anybody is interested in that and lives in Canada, I have one kit left. So if you're interested in that stamp camp and haven't signed up already, it's not too late. You wouldn't get the make and take kit right away, but you could join us if you reach out to me and let me know you want to sign up before Friday. I can let you into the Facebook group and you can join us for the weekend, for Friday and Saturday, with all of the bonus projects, and then you would get your make and takes in the mail in a little bit. Yes, I know, Pam, you're joining us. I'm glad you are. Let's see, what else is going on? There's lots of things going on with Stampin' Up! At the moment. Don't forget, there's a great join special. So if you're interested in joining my team, you're not a demonstrator at this point, but you're interested in it, it's a great deal. $135, you get $206 in product of your choice, and you get free shipping. So that's another 11% savings on your starter kit. So it really is a great deal. So if you are interested in that, reach out to me. It's only on till the end of the month. If you are a demonstrator, maybe you've got somebody in mind to ask to join your team and get that great deal. I know that there's some other specials on at the moment, but my brain isn't thinking about them at the moment. So I just really wanted to mention the join special, and also the stamp camp with the reindeer days. If you're interested in that, please reach out soon so that I can get that kit off to you. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Now I will be, I believe I will be live on Sunday. I have a class, a team call in the morning and then a class in the afternoon, but I believe I will be going live. So stay tuned, just watch Facebook for notification of the time. All right,